you posted something also that I wanted to talk to you about because we agree, and I don't want to say we don't agree because I believe we do. But I think there's more to it, and that's target focused shooting. You
Mhm.
agree target focus is great for speed and accuracy, but you also said that you think there's times in long range shooting that you may need to be more sight focused.
Mhm.
And this is where I've done a lot of shooting from 300 yards to 2,000 yards.
Mhm.
That's really my background. And so I started thinking about what you said, and I was like, no, even from 600 yards and beyond, I can't think of a time other than when I had a moving target beyond 600 yards that I looked at the target. I mean, I looked at my sight much like my reticle.
Yeah.
I and this is also why I feel this made me think about why I like second focal plane scopes over first focal plane. Because I've always said that I don't like the fact that when you zoom in on a first focal plane scope, your reticle gets bigger too.
Right.
And and I don't like that because I don't believe you can be as precise
Yeah.
when that reticle blooms up as well. So I prefer a second focal plane scope where that reticle stays small, target gets bigger. I can really like down to the hair on the shoulder where I want to put that reticle.
Yeah.
Um, now, what are your thoughts on long range and sight versus target focus?
So my thought is, I 100% agree with you because
Okay.
when I talk about target focus versus site focus, and I think I know the post you're referring to. I'm actually only referring to handgun and not rifle. So
Okay.
100% agree with you on rifle as far as always having the target focus. Um, yeah, I think we're aligned in that.
Yeah, the only thing I wish scope manufacturers would do is for second focal plane scope. I wish on the back at your eye lens where you adjust the zoom, I wish they had a tactile click where that zoom, that power, magnification power,
Mhm.
and the measurement of the reticle coincide. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
So like where one MOA would actually be one MOA on the target. So
Yeah. You have to talk to them about that.
yeah. Otherwise you've got to look and figure out where you need to be.
Yeah.
So it looks like I need to work with some scope manufacturers on that.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm saving the one of my other ones for later because it'll be a surprise. I do want to talk about Prairie Fire. Is that who do you work for Prairie Fire or are you just aligned with Prairie Fire? I'm not sure.
No, I actually work for them. Yeah, I'm the
Okay.
chief experience officer at Prairie Fire, Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a very interesting competition in October. I think it made a big splash.
Uh-huh.
The I know there was a bunch of interviews and stuff done. Is that out somewhere or is it coming out?
Yeah, they're slowly rolling those out on the Prairie Fire rank uh, social media pages.
Okay.
So there's a couple different branches of the company. There's Prairie Fire Nevada, who I work for, which is the company that took over Front Sight December 2nd, the shooting range outside of Las Vegas. And then there's Prairie Fire Rank, which is in charge of all the competitions and the you know the the rank target and things like that they came out with last year. So there's kind of a couple different branches of the company.
Now they had the rank competition at the Texas range last
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there was talk of doing one this year. Are they still going to do one this year?
Yeah, so they're still working out the details on that. I think if they do run that one, it's going to be probably in November. I imagine it'll be at Prairie Fire, Nevada. So I'm not uh, exactly sure on the specifics of that, but I can get those to you.
Okay. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so I know about the competition. I know you guys built the range in Texas. You acquired Front Sight. I knew that.
Yep.
So what is the overall, what is the plan for those two sites?
Yeah, so Texas will be they're going to be building it up into a great range down there. They're I would say that they're a little bit behind the range out here in Nevada. Obviously, Front Sight was already built up and has
Right.
a wonderful staff and 50 beautiful ranges on like just under 600 acres. So it's that we're up and ready to rock and roll. We're just gonna be adding on to it to make it even better. I mean, I think the goal for Prairie Fire Nevada is to make it kind of the home for all things shooting and kind of the home for American experiences, where we don't want to we're going to do cater to everything shooting, but also offer more. So if you like to ATV, we have a beautiful ropes course. We want to do all sorts of fun activities that shooters enjoy, but kind of combine those with shooting. So you can spend half the day shooting and then spend the other half the day, ATVing or doing some other fun activity, as well as the regular standard training and high level competitions and things like that.
And I just had this visual run through my head of Lanny Barnes standing up on an ATV, driving it with her knees, and shooting targets as she goes by. That's what ran through my head.
Uh oh, that's quite the visual.
Yeah, but I see it happening. I see the
Yeah,
Instagram post now.
yeah.
So kind of like the mecca of shooting in a way.
Yeah, yeah. So, you could say kind of the Disney World of shooting. I mean, um, the part of the plans are to put in a 500 space RV park, hotel, some condos, pro shops, restaurants, things like that. So people can enjoy shooting sports. And then, how right now, most of the time we drive an hour to a shooting range and then we shoot and then we're like, okay, well, we're dirty and exhausted. We have to drive another hour back to the restaurant and the hotel. We're going to have all that here on site at Prairie Fire, Nevada, so that you can, just really enjoy your experience. And then afterwards, go take a shower and then go out and hang out next to a fire pit with your friends and talk about all of the cool things that happened that day, or give someone a hard time for missing a target, and then make some bets about who's going to win the next day. Just things like that to enjoy the experience of shooting just a little bit more.
It's funny you say that because there used to be three of us who did this podcast. Now it's me.
Yeah.
And the other two, when we were at Nationals back in 2020, every day they would bet each other. Whoever had the worst day had to buy um, the appetizer at the end of the day at dinner time.
Right. Yeah.
So that was the visual that ran through when you were talking about sitting around at a fire, eating, talking about the day's shooting. I could see
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we want to create a community here where everybody's welcome, and no matter what kind of shooting you enjoy doing, you can do it here at Prairie Fire, Nevada.
So, do you think we'll ever see other shooting competitions, whether it's multi-gun, three-gun, IPSC, any shooting competition? Do you think we'll see that? Is that a goal at Prairie Fire, Nevada?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have the space and the facility to be able to host large matches. I mean, we could run quite a few national level matches right now if if we wanted to, or even simultaneously at the same time. But we want to, get to the point where we can offer, world class facility, just like Cameo out in Colorado. I mean, Walt Prue. He did an incredible job building up that facility, and we want to be able to bring in those types of competitions. But we also want to come up with our own new shooting competitions that might be exciting for the next generation, or people looking to dive into something new.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Now,
Yeah.
until you guys are able to build all that up, how long of a drive is it from Vegas to Prairie Fire, Nevada?
It's about 45 minutes from the Strip.
Oh, that's not bad at all. That's a hop,
No,
skip, and a jump.
yeah, you go up and over the mountains, and right down into the Valley of Pahrump, and it's beautiful on this side. It's a lot quieter. You have mountains 360 degrees around the range, and it's beautiful.
All right, so legit question then. You talked about someone who invented skiing on a beach. Do you see skiing here on sand per se and shooting?
We just discovered a little sand dunes yesterday on the property, and just might have to bring my skis out next time and try it out. We'll see. You never know. I mean, we look at this facility as a blank slate. I mean, it's beautiful what they built up here, and we just want to add on to it and make it even better. So, the possibilities are endless in what we can do on this facility, and we want to try to make it accessible to anybody and everybody, and that includes the industry as well. We want to as many companies that want to come out here and use this for photo shoots, or to introduce new people to shooting. We're going to make it available for that.
Okay. It sounds like I love the goals. It would be awesome if it became that. Now you had posted something. Where is it at? Here we go. Recently, like within the last day or two, on your Instagram, and I think this is the perfect time to talk about it. And that is, you had posted the picture. Um, I want to say it might have even been yesterday. The shooting under the lights in front of 30,000 people.
Right.
And why can't we see that in the United States? And like you, I think it would be magnanimous to have this happen. This would be awesome. And the
Yeah.
picture you posted of it is pretty wild. Um, I kind of feel like with the goals that Prairie Fire Nevada has, that maybe this would be the place where something like that could happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think it can. And, I say that I'm the luckiest shooter in the United States because I was able to shoot in front of 30 to 50,000 people and have that experience. I mean, there's very few Americans that can say that. And you know, I think it's a huge disservice to this country and our 2A and firearms community if I don't figure out a way of creating shooting sports to where they're as popular here as they were in Europe or overseas. Because we live in a country that loves firearms, and we have more firearms in this country than any other country, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
we celebrate that, and we love our firearms, but we don't have shooting sports on TV, and we don't have no one comes to watch our shooting sports, and there's a lot of reasons for that. We have all these other sports, the professional sports and things like that, and I think some of the biggest reasons why we don't have those things is because one, probably the most important, is we haven't made shooting sports spectator friendly. I mean, right now, no matter what shooting sport you watch, either people think it's too boring, or it's hard to follow. Like, people don't understand, what's going on. And if you look at all the other sports, whether it's soccer, or any of the individual sports, and like racing, car racing, and things like that, you always know who's winning at any given time. And with our shooting sports, we compete throughout the weekend, and then at the results or the awards ceremony, we're all scrambling to look on our phone like who won, how did we all do, and we kind of maybe have an idea of how it's stacked out is stacking up, but there's no way to actually see as we're going live like, okay, well, yeah, that's the clear winner right now. And so we haven't really taken that time to create shooting sports to where they're spectator friendly and people can follow it easily.
And I would agree. Matt Hopkins and I just had this conversation, and he was like, literally, if you watch NASCAR, the person in front is the winner, and
Right.
they're
Yeah.
literally first. And
Yeah.
you look at all the other sports, you can. I agree. He said that his belief was we couldn't do it. We couldn't make it popular with hit factor scoring. You're going to have to go to something else where people would know immediately what the situation was. And that's when I brought up Prairie Fire, the rank competition. Because I said you could almost do it there, at least with rounds 3 and 4 specifically, because it
Mhm.
was head to head.
Yeah.
Whoever finished first was moving on, and whoever finished second wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that whole Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last. So
Yeah. Yeah.
very simple and easy to follow along with. So I could see where, and I said even rounds 1 and 2, if you had cameras set up properly and people could see how the shooters were doing at the same time or live, then that would probably be okay too. Now, I do think that there would probably be some pushback from the left, but um, I feel like it would also needs to be done in steps. Like I can't watch any nationals anything being live streamed. Like I feel like we need to start there and build it that way and build a viewership and then expand it. Even Shooting USA, I might be able to watch something, but it's going to be a month or maybe 2 months after the fact. And there's
Right.
really nothing live streaming, which is what I desire and I would like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we created we there's the technology out there for cameras and being able to video something so that you can capture the moment and the person shooting and make it so that it's a lot more pleasing to watch as opposed to just sticking a camera on a tripod in a range and like kind of getting the whole thing but not really getting in on the shooter and the targets and things like that. I mean, it would be a lot more involved with a camera crew and things like that to be able to set it up in a way that you can see it, but there's no reason why we can't do that so that people can experience that one so that it's more visually appealing to the eye. These days everybody um, so visually focused. You go through social media feeds and it's just one thing after another. They have to have that constant stimuli. And if you just have a feed just continuously going and people really don't know what's going on, then they're gonna move on to something else. But if you have those feeds and those camera angles that are visually appealing, plus you have someone explaining like what the person's doing and how they're doing while they're doing it, I think that'd make it a lot better.
But I feel like the first step is just streaming it, period. Like, how do we get from nothing? Because literally there's nothing right now. And I agree
Right.
with you. I mean, I think as all of us as being um, firearm friendly and 2A supporters and competition friendly, um, how do we go from nothing to at least streaming it where the people who are involved in it, whether it's as a hobby or they consider themselves actively competing in the sport, to where we can
Right.
all experience that.
Well, I mean, if you're saying kind of what you're talking about is starting out with the live streaming. I mean, USPSA is doing that kind of their nationals now, but it's more the thing where they set a tripod in a bay, and then they, you know, hit record, and then they walk away. I mean, it would almost have to be where, you know, in the instance that you're talking about, where it's people like you and others that really have a passion for that space, that are like, okay, well, I'm going to go and I have a drone or something like that. I'm just going to, or, you know, some sort of camera equipment. I'm going to set it up and capture in a way that people can see it. You know, like, unless we convince the broadcasters and someone like that to really come in and do it, you know, that's a good place to start. But at the same time, you can only capture one stage doing that. You know, if you set up the shooting sports in a way that they're a lot more efficient, like, part of the problem with the shooting sports now is it takes the action shooting sports, for example, it takes so long to run all the shooters through. Like, a lot of the matches, it's 3 days of shooting. So it's a huge time commitment and things like that. But if we were able to make it so efficient, you know, automatic resetting targets and stuff like that, so that you could run the shooters a lot quicker, they have the same good experience, but then you can have, you know, someone on, say, one stage or several stages, and be able to capture more than have it spread out over 3 days, where it's a huge time commitment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now I'm sure you've been to Cameo because you're right around the corner.
Yep.
There's a gentleman that lives local to me that, as I understand it, he helped wire that place for all the IT stuff. And he
Yeah.
was telling me that on every bay, there's 4 different plugs where you can run a live feed, you can run a scoreboard, a television, you can run 4 different things simultaneously, because
Mm-hmm.
they, if you want to call it, they over IT'd it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
took it to the nth degree. And
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, and now obviously if it weren't for the politics in Colorado, that would be the range where you could go in, you could put a camera on every bay,
Mm-hmm.
and on your, you know, you could log into a, we'll just say, a website, and then you would have, let's say there's 20 bays. So you would have 20 different little screens on your, or windows on your screen, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
stage 7, I want to look at, oh, someone's getting ready to shoot on stage 7, let me click on that. And then it makes it, you know, it opens up that window and you could watch that person go through it. I kind of feel like, even if that's where we started, and then maybe that would show a benefit to these other people, or interest anyway, say, look, there's interest, we have so many interactions every day, and
Right.
this and that, and we build it from there. I kind of feel like that's where we could start, but it would take something like that to be able
Yeah,
to.
absolutely. I mean, you know, you look at a lot of shooting ranges around the country, and you can hardly get cell phone service out there, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
Wald, I mean, he was a genius when he built Cameo, because he thought about those types of things.
Yes.
You know, put Wi-Fi capabilities and live streaming capabilities, and, you know, all those things, and into those bays. And, you know, like you said, he over what he said overdid it on you and your friend, he said he overdid on technology, but it you have to do that. You know, that's part of making something forward thinking about seeing what it's going to be like in the future. You know, because if we don't cater to that technology, we're going to lose it to, you know, all the kids that would rather play a video game than go out on the shooting range.
Right. Yeah. I mean, could you see something at Prairie Fire, Nevada, where they have, because I mean, I feel like you guys are in the desert there, so Wi-Fi might be difficult, um,
Mm-hmm.
where it would be wired up for that type of thing.
Yep. Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, we definitely want to get there, and you know, people like Wald have kind of paved the way for that to be the standard going forward. I mean, you kind of have to, if you want to be relevant in the industry. not just for being able to capture the video and broadcasting and things like that, but a lot of people want to have that experience where they could potentially live stream their stage while they're shooting it, have someone follow them with their phone, or be able to upload pictures and videos of their family and friends having fun on the range, different things like that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what's going to help grow shooting sports, is make it more accessible, and more available to all different forms of media, and that's what's going to help us grow.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Show the human side of people enjoying themselves, and you
Hmm.
start to win people over.
Absolutely.
Now, here comes the surprise part. You had posted something a while back on your Instagram, and it was a who's who. So I'm going to share the first picture. This is a picture of you and Tracy. Now, can you
Okay.
see that?
I can see that. Yep.
Okay. All right. For the record, here we go. I'm going to answer all 5 of these.
Okay, good.
I This is Lanny on the right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2. This one's a little tougher. I don't
Yeah.
have a lot to work with here, and you guys look very similar. I'm going with Lanny on the right.
Correct.
Boom, 2 for 2. Okay.
Nice. You're good at this.
Definitely Lanny on the right.
Ah, it's a common theme with this so far.
All right. Now, but we've changed it up. Lanny on the left.
You got it. Yeah.
Now, this is where I have zero idea. So, this is literally swagging it. You know what swag stands for?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm going to swag it, and I'm going with Lanny on the left.
I think so.
Okay.
I
I
think
feel
so.
like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like this picture is your parents saying, "Okay, we got to change the color of their shirt or we're not going to know who is who."
Yeah. Yeah. My parents struggled with that sometimes. They'd go to yell at one of us, and they'd say Tracy, and then, oh, sorry, I mean Lanny. So they
Oh,
were
I
constantly.
I can totally imagine that. I mean, okay, so did you guys ever play tricks on, like, did one of the pair of twins I know, when they were in high school, they would go to each other's classes
Yep. Yeah.
and not their own. Did you guys do stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So when we were young, the school decided to split us up because they thought that we needed to create our own identity and not be together. Which, if you
Wow.
know anything about twins, it's really kind of a bad idea.
Very
It
bad.
just, because it just makes it worse, and then we want to start playing pranks on people. So our teachers would memorize our clothes, and so at lunch we'd switch clothes, and then I'd go in her class, and then she'd go in my class, and we poor teachers, I felt bad for them.
Oh, now did they ever yell at you because, like, you'd be in Tracy's class and be like, Tracy, Tracy, and you're like not answering because your name's Lanny?
No, because I mean, I've been called my twin sister's name just as many times as I've been called my own. So you automatically, like, it's almost like if someone says Tracy, I say yes, because I just assume they're talking to me. Um, but the only time we ever got accused of switching was when we weren't. And it was so hard trying to convince the teacher, no, I really am who I say I am, but they didn't believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how would you prove that? I
Yeah.
don't even
I'm
I
like,
don't
well, I
even
guess we
know.
can go switch clothes and I'll pretend to be, my twin sister, but yeah.
Wow. Well, Lanny, that's what I've got. Is there anything you wanted to add or anything we need to expand on?
I don't think so. No, I really enjoyed that. That was a fun conversation.
It was. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
It was awesome having you back on for an actual discussion. So
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was always fun chatting with you.
I appreciate that. It was nice running into you at SHOT Show.
Absolutely. Yeah, SHOT Show is one of those things where you hope you see everybody that you'd like to see, but sometimes you know it's just a sea of people, and you don't get a run into everybody.
Yeah, I felt like the entire population of, well, it's not going to come out right, but the entire population of the United States was at SHOT Show. I'll say that.
It was very busy this year, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's good that it's getting back to normal, but that was a lot of people.
yeah, definitely. I didn't quite expect that many people, but it was great for the industry, I think, to see that many people coming back.
Totally agree. Well, Lanny, again, thanks for coming on, and I hope to have you on again in the future.
Well, thank you for having me, and definitely anytime.
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.